Hi friends, I'm Kat. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, where we're going to be using a spinner wheel to determine how many hours a day I'm reading. And basically, I just have a lot of books checked out right now, and I feel like reading. So we kind of set this up where I started at 1 hour and went up to 7 and 30-minute increments. And every time that a number is pulled, I'm just going to remove that, and that way it potentially won't come up again. But yeah, we're really just going to hope that while I mean, I really do want to read a crazy amount. Hopefully this won't be too difficult on me, because 7 hours in a day, potentially where I work, is that might be really terrible on me. Okay, so I did actually just do the first roll, and I'll put it in somewhere. But I have 6.5 hours, and I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to start on this tomorrow, but just wanted to quickly film an intro so that way tomorrow morning maybe I can get started before I feel like filming. And yeah, so that is concerning for tomorrow, but that is not a today problem. And yeah, just wanted to quickly intro this video. Here we are, a few hours into day one, and oof. Picking a day where I'm working to start on this challenge was a mistake. Also, I mean, I work like 5 days a week, so there's really kind of no going around on that. And if we're doing this as a weekly vlog, again, also no getting around that. Maybe putting this up to 7 hours was a terrible idea. I mean, it definitely was. And in this theoretical perfect world that I envisioned myself in, apparently I literally do nothing else but read. And, you know, a perfect day involves nothing. Like, I have no responsibilities. I have nothing I need to worry about, and I can just sit down and ignore everything. But today we rolled 6.5 hours, as I mentioned yesterday, and I tried to be strategic about this. So we are a few hours into the day, a few hours into my reading time, and I did try to be a little strategic about it and plan out chunks of time where I potentially could read. So I did wake up a little bit earlier than usual this morning and read for about 40 minutes before work. So that was done. And then over my lunch break, I had a solid hour where I was able to read while I was in the office too. So an hour and 40 minutes done. And then where we are right now, it is just before dinner time. So I'm at home. Clearly I'm home from the office, and I've done in about another 30 minutes. So that brings us to 2 hours and 10 minutes done. And yeah, we still have 4 hours and 20 minutes, which is incredibly terrifying for the rest of the evening, considering that it's 5 p.m. and I still have other things I want to do tonight. So I feel like already there's a very real possibility that we're going to be potentially moving hours over to tomorrow, which is not at all what I wanted. I really wanted to try and focus and do all these in one day. That might be super unrealistic. But now that I've kind of talked to you about how miserable everything is, let's talk about the book I'm reading. And I did decide to kind of start off on a banger, and I got a loan in through Libby of Problematic Summer Romance by Ellie Hazelwood. And you know what? Perfect way to start this challenge off, and perfect way to really motivate me to try and want to read all of these hours, is something from my favorite author. And that might be kind of the trick we're going to go with for the rest of this, is books that I'm really anticipating could potentially be the forefront of these days where we have a lot of hours to read. Good thing though, we're not going to have 6.5 hours on another day. There's still the possibility of 6 hours or 7 hours, but at least one of these longer time frames is gone. So Problematic Summer Romance. Oh, I did not say that right. Problematic Summer Romance. This is kind of a companion novel to Not in Love, which was one that I think a lot of people who are fans of Ellie Hazelwood had issues with that one, because it was much sexier than a lot of her other books when that one came out, and really heavy emphasis on the smut. And I think this one might be kind of similar, but we're basically following Maya, who is the younger sister of Eli from Not in Love, and her as she is deeply in love with Eli's best friend. But this is kind of deemed problematic because Connor, this guy she's in love with, is 15 years older than her. And he, while aware of her feelings, seems like maybe something has happened with them, something that has made their relationship awkward. And we're getting this idea that he maybe has told her that he is not on board with a potential relationship or anything happening between them because of her age. So it's kind of been hinted at that they had a much closer friendship than a lot of people thought. Like, the two of them apparently seems like they talked on the phone constantly to each other and had like a deep emotional connection. But there was something kind of, stopping / it seems like something good boy, buddy. Slash, it seems like something has happened in the last year that they haven't talked in close to a year, and seems like, you know, they were friends, so they talked constantly. Oh my god, I accidentally just like kind of threw my microphone under my couch. Oh, that was fun to retrieve. But current setting of the book, we are at an exclusive, very remote Italian villa. Eli and Rue are having a wedding, and for the week leading up to this wedding, they have only their closest of close friends. So Maya and Connor are now at this like remote Italian villa together, and yeah, things are awkward. Maya's trying to avoid Connor in every way possible, but that is not possible when there's only like 10 people invited. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Love Ali Hazelwood, love her writing, and ridiculously excited to keep going on this one. We're in for a terrible fucking day, friends. Oh my god. So last night, did not update again. Did not finish my hours either. Kind of didn't come close. And I did just roll for today, and we have another 6 hours. Or is it 6.5? Wait, 6 hours. Yesterday was 6.5. Yeah, so I have 2 hours and 9 minutes left over from last night. Just rolled another 6 hours. So we have 8 hours and 9 minutes to read today, which, this is going to be rough. I've been doing a little bit of mental planning, and we're going to be very, very rough today about it. Plan is I have an hour and a half until I start work. We're going to do that right now, really intensely. I have an hour over lunch. We're going to read then. And then, do math. Come on, do math. That leaves me 5.5 hours to finish after work. So I'm done at 4. That's good. I'll have about an hour to work out, and otherwise, that is actually realistic. I might stay up a little bit later tonight than I usually do, but we might be able to accomplish it. We might actually be able to do it. So now, first, before we kind of talk about today, let's talk about what we did read last night. So I finished Problematic Summer Romance, and I love Ali Hazelwood, giving this 5 stars. I do have some minor complaints about this one, which is literally just that something about the age gap in this one just really kind of like was getting to me, just thinking about, she was really like putting the ages of the male main character and female main character, and I was having a little bit of an issue with that, because I'm just thinking about like age that I currently am, age my husband is, age of the female main character, and it's like basically thinking of, you know, where my husband is at life, just because he's about the same age as a male main character compared to basically one of our summer students at work, and that was kind of an ick, just thinking about like how wildly different those life experiences are. That one I was having a little bit of trouble getting behind, but otherwise I love Ali Hazelwood. This had a really fun setting in Italy, and made me a little upset because I was supposed to go this winter. Made me a little upset thinking about that maybe I'm now not going, but also just really enjoyed it. And yeah, I love Ali Hazelwood, and I get really excited to read any of her stuff. Then, so after that, I think I read about an hour, not quite an hour, almost, of The Inevitable Rune by Matt Dinniman, which is book 7 in Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm now 19% into it, so that's one that it's like a 700-page book, so I'm slowly making my way through it, and it's not going to be my primary focus for today, but it is going to kind of be something I think that I'm flitting into, and just kind of dropping a little bit of reading in there every now and then. But focuses for today, let me quickly check. I have a few books that are going to be due soon at the library, so even though there's other ones I'm kind of more excited about, I think that these are the ones that realistically I should focus on, and I'm really trying to not be an asshole and not like return books crazy late. So this is what we're gonna do. There is Dance of Lies, which I think is a fantasy romance. This is overdue. The Poppy Fields, some kind of futuristic technology and slightly dystopian world, maybe. This is due back in a few days, so that does really need to be read. Slash also, next time I'm at my office, I'd like to be able to drop that off. Parasol Against the Axe. I think this is like a weird futuristic city something. And Violetta, which takes place during the Great Depression. This is one I'm not as excited about, but I am trying to see if I like this author, so there is that. And I know I do, as always, have so many on Libby too, so many on KU, so many things I want to read. And we're going to try to frame today as a positive in that I have all of this intense reading time that I really, really need to get through. And that is going to be how we think about this. This is going to be a major positive, is that we have a lot of time to read. We are going to read a lot of books and we are going to be really, really happy about it. So I don't know what one I'm going to start on. Realistically, I probably should the Poppy Fields. I know that that's the one that is most immediately due, / I want to very much bring it back to the library very soon. So maybe that would make sense. And yeah, I guess I'll just start there. So I have about an hour and a half now, like I said, and maybe I can make a big chunk of progress in that before I start work. So let us get into it. Lunch is just about over. So we're now 2.5 hours into everything that I've read. I did do the hour and a half this morning. I did an hour now, and we have progress on things. So first off, I'm a little bit over halfway through The Poppy Fields by Nikki Erlich. And in this one, we are following this weird kind of treatment center that exists where people are able to go in and basically sleep away their grief. So if people are experiencing really bad issues with grief and really unable to move past like losses, there's this new treatment center where people can go in. They are hooked up to the sleeping machine for a month or two, and there's something that it does to your brain chemistry that when you come out, the grief has all passed. And the primary focus of the story, so we're following 3 people who are all trying to make their way to this treatment center for different reasons. There's one woman who's trying to reconnect with her sister, one who got rejected from treatment and is hoping to go there to find out more, and one who lost his brother and really wants to go to this treatment center to ask for answers. And overall, I think this book so far, completely fine. It is not delving as much as I would like into a lot of the different aspects of this memory loss, brain reconstructing kind of procedure. We're really not learning a lot about it. We're really not seeing a lot of the impacts it has on like society as a whole, aside from just like some general facts of, we're seeing, I guess, like little media reports every now and then that say like people's positive impacts, how people come out of it, and also these weird side effects too. I guess that 1 in 4 people who go into it come out basically with all emotional connection to this person they are grieving gone. So say you lost a parent and you went in, the intent is to go in and just to kind of process grief and come out still feeling that love, but no longer feeling the intense pain. But 1 in 4 people come out and they no longer feel like any emotion towards that person. They kind of liken it to you come out feeling the same as you kind of would from a distant neighbor. Just be like, oh, they died. That is unfortunate. So I'm enjoying it a decent amount. It's one of those, like, every person has their own secrets. They have their own reason why they're trying to go there and these things, and it's slowly being unveiled. So it's decent. It's just also nothing that I would say it's like crazy exciting. And then I did finish. I was reading Immaculate Conception by Lin Huang, and I was 60-ish% into it. So I finished that this morning as well, which I honestly don't even know how to talk about this one. It was weird. It honestly was like a weird dystopian world, and we're following artists within this world and the weird mediums that they now experiment art through. Like, art is no longer necessarily just painting on a canvas. A lot of the art they were doing was more performance pieces and really like these intense scientific, weird technological breakthroughs, and seeing how people have impact, or seeing how they have impact on society. It was super, super weird. And it had all of these weird technological things happening, all of these weird scientific things that just were so weird, but also very, very interesting. And it makes it kind of hard to talk about this book because there's just so many weird reveals of these weird things that have been created and weird different little like technologies and stuff. And yeah, like I don't even know how to talk about a lot of it because it was just kind of strange. This is one of those books, like I don't know if anybody ever has this feeling, but I came out of it immediately thinking that I need to go reread it at some point because I feel like I'm going to miss, or I did miss, a lot of the technological impacts on this world. And I really kind of want to go back in because a lot of it had to do with brain science and cloning and different biological impacts and creations and just so many weird things, but so interesting. And yeah, like very, very fascinating. I'm giving it 4 stars. It wasn't quite a 5 for me, but I have a feeling I'm going to be thinking about this one for a while because it was so weird. So yeah, that one's done. That one's done. We're making progress. I have to go back to work now, unfortunately, but tonight we're definitely going to be ready to jump in and do as much as possible. Feeling motivated. I'm feeling excited. Today's going to be good. I'm not fully confident that I'll hit the full 8 hours, but maybe if we even get to like 6, that will be good. That will just help me a little bit. And then hopefully let's get a small number tomorrow. Just things will be okay. Well, I decided to kind of just read as chaotically as possible for the rest of the day, just in true me fashion. So we have 2.5 hours left. So we're doing good, though it is 8 p.m. and I kind of anticipate maybe an hour and a half at the absolute most that'll get done today. So we're doing good. So technically we did all of the hours for today and we still have like those rollover hours from yesterday. But chaos. What have I even done? I finished the poppy fields, giving this 3 stars. I think that it was decent in what it did, but wasn't really anything groundbreaking and wasn't really anything that like made me think in any way. You know what I mean? Like it didn't provide any like really interesting commentary and didn't really delve into anything that was like that different or that interesting. It was just kind of fine. And yeah, I think that was kind of similar. Actually, no, I'd say I like this one a lot less than I like The Measure by the same author. I think it definitely left like a very significant amount to be desired and overall just kind of felt blah about it. Then next one, I'm reading Violetta by Isabel Allende. That is how far I am into it. And we're following basically a young woman who was born in, I guess, the 1920s into a very prominent family in, where are they based out of? I know she's in South America. I'm not sure which country though. But basically they're a family in South America who are very, very well off. And then around the time of the Spanish flu and the Great Depression, her family kind of loses all their money. Her father kills himself and her family quickly becomes very destitute. And now we're kind of following her as basically what goes on past that, and I guess her life now as they're kind of just trying to survive the Great Depression. Pretty interested in it. It's definitely captivated my interest, but I'm like weirdly not I really don't like historical things, but so far this one seems okay. And then the final book that I picked up and 50% into is The Wall. And this one is a weird kind of dystopian book told in the form of a diary of a woman who gets trapped on one side of this wall. And basically she is at this isolated hunting cabin, and this weird, mysterious, like not physical, almost like a glass wall kind of comes down and separates the land in two. And everything on the other side seems to have very quickly died. And now she's isolated on this edge and surviving. Nowhere near any civilization, nowhere near other people. And it's kind of just her story as she's telling it, as she's on the side of the wall and trying to live her life. Very sad so far. There's been a few scenes that have really, really emotionally impacted me because major trigger warning for animal death in this one. It is not okay with me right now. There was one scene especially that, I'm not gonna lie, really, really that impacted me. And yeah, then I kind of had to take a little bit of a break from reading, so it wasn't worked out. But yeah, chaotically started 2 books and finished another one. I am gonna now just make a little snack and go read a bit more. I'm anticipating maybe an hour and a half, again, reading tonight. So we're definitely not gonna hit the hours for today, but tomorrow we will just roll these over again. We'll hope. Good news is we can't have 6.5, we can't have 6 hours, potential for 7 hours, but anything less than that is great. We're gonna really, really hope that we get like 2 or under. That would be amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna go read for a little bit longer now. So lots and lots of progress today. Last night, finished the night with an hour and a half to be moved over to today. And then we spun 4.5 hours today. So 6 hours total pretty much. And yeah, we're just really, really getting at it. So last night, I finished The Wall, and overall, very good dystopian book. Very sad, very, very sad though. Like very, just a woman in her quiet solitude as she is isolated from the rest of the world during some kind of like extinction type of event. Yeah, really, really sad. And it was good. There were just a few things that were really, really hard for me to read that I personally almost put the book down because I found them very, very sad. But now that we're done that one, today I've read like 2.5 hours today. So yeah, I'm down to 3.5 now. So we've made tons of progress in other things. Yeah, we're going to talk now about today's reading. So I got a few more chapters into Violetta, still continuing just the story of this woman during the Depression. And right now it's kind of her going into her marriage. So that one's going on. I read a few chapters of Parasol Against the Axe and then decided to DNF it. Just really was not connecting with the writing style. And this one, it's a tale of competitive friendship, elastic storytelling, and the meddling influence of a city called Prague. And it's kind of describes the Czech capital as a living thing, one that can let you in or spit you out. And I wasn't really feeling it. It wasn't really clicking for me in quite the way that I wanted to. So I decided just not to waste my time. And then in other chaoticness, I read about 10% of The Inevitable Ruin by Matt Dinniman. So that's Dungeon Crawler Carl book 7. And that was a fair amount. It's a very, very long book. So that was a decent amount being done. And I'm also about 15% into The Fallen in the Kiss of Dusk by, what's her name? Carissa Broadbent, which is book 4 in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So again, chaotically just picking up a bunch of things. The Inevitable Ruin, going fantastic. Loving it. Deeply, deeply love Dungeon Crawler Carl. And then the Carissa Broadbent book, I'm not deeply enjoying that much. I mean, I'm really not far into it, but I didn't really like book 3. And the series is kind of divided into like duologies. So books 3 and 4 are following one couple. And I didn't love book 3. So I'm kind of going in now and also not loving this one. I definitely need to look up a summary of book 3 because I definitely think I forgot a little bit. But in this, it's like a vampire type of story. And there's like all these different gods and goddesses at play and a lot of things like that happening. And in this one, it involves the underworld as well and the potential death of a god. So it's interesting. It's just not one that I am deeply loving. But I do think I'm going to continue on in that today. And now, so what we have on the go, we have that. I am going to definitely continue The Inevitable Ruin and Violetta. Those are going to kind of be like the focus for the rest of the day, I guess. So because we have 3 hours left. I can't remember what. I could also just look at my timer, but yeah, I think we have either 3 or 3.5 hours, something like that. And yeah, we'll just keep doing that. It's not going to be that difficult for me today. I feel very locked in on this. I am really, really enjoying what I'm reading right now. Or, I mean, it's kind of against, right? I'm just really, really enjoying the act of reading right now. And through, just really, really enjoying like sitting here and getting into a book. Just something about that is like really, really working incredibly well for me today. So that's always like the best feeling in the world, I think. So we honestly did fantastic yesterday. I managed to get through all 3 of my hours so easily, the 3 that were remaining at least, and finish off The Fallen in the Kiss of Dusk. I think I just messed that name up completely, but we got it done. And within that 3 hours was like a perfect amount of time to do it. And I feel so disappointed to say that I'm going to just kind of like reiterate my thoughts on what I was saying before, that I think I'm really disappointed in this one. Like it really, really did not captivate my interest in any way. And it's kind of one I could have definitely taken a lot less time to read it than that 3 hours, but I was definitely dragging my feet because I wasn't fully invested and was a little bored, to be very, very honest. Like, I don't know what it is, but these 2 story arcs within this overarching series just did not do it for me. And I don't know if it's just I wasn't interested in, I mean, I definitely wasn't interested in the relationship. And I guess just the overarching plot too. Didn't really care as much. There's this whole subplot about killing a god and then I think resurrecting one. And yeah, just didn't care. Was not it for me. But that being said, we are actually, for like the first time this video, not behind and not rolling over hours, which feels amazing and is like the best thing in the world. So just fun for today too. And we have 2 hours, which I am so grateful for. Kind of like feels like it frees up my day so much that I only have that amount to read. And I think I might be able to actually like sit down and do it all right now. We'll see how it goes, but there's actually like a decent chance that I will be able to just like power through those 2 hours and then kind of have the whole day, rest of the day to myself. But the one I'm going to focus on today is Violetta by Isabel Allende. I would really, really like to finish this off because I do want to go to the library later on today. And I know this is one that's coming up due very soon. So if I could get through this and finish reading this today, that would be amazing. I might cheat a little and switch to audio for a bit because I did find a copy of the audiobook, and not gonna lie, there are a lot of things I need to do around the house today. I do need to do a lot of cleaning and just some organizing and stuff. So it might actually like help me a little bit if I'm listening to 2 hours on audio. Definitely would be reading less pages than I would, I guess, if I was sitting physically, but I kind of want to try that. I kind of want to cheat and do that. But yeah, either way, I think I'm going to be able to power through these 2 hours very, very quickly and then just kind of continue on in the day and just kind of do whatever I want after that, I guess. Because I do find when it's been like 6+ hours to read, it kind of takes up like, it kind of controls my entire day. I don't really have that much flexibility to do anything else, unfortunately. So it does kind of hurt. And I feel like I have those days where I'm reading like 8 hours a day, but it's different when it's kind of my choice, if that makes sense. Like I have been enjoying this because it's definitely getting me to read more than I have in a little bit. But at the same time too, like if I want to read 8 hours, it kind of like, it's easier for it to be like, oh, a Saturday when I have nothing going on instead of a work day where I need to like fit every waking moment into reading that I'm not working. But anyways, today will be easy. Today will be easy, and that's fantastic. I'm gonna go read right now.
That summer, we were hit by one of those hurricanes that shouted hysterically. He must have understood was marked by challenges and chances. Stress was dealt an extraordinary hand. She was in
2 hours, very, very easily done this morning. So I did end up just listening to the audiobook, and that is how far we are into the book. We are like really, really crazy close to the end. I think I'm like 87%. So really, really happy with that one. Feels great that, I've made such a big progress and just really, really enjoying this. Maybe I'm wrong. I think this takes place in Venezuela, and we're following a lot of, so Violetta, this is entirely told as a letter to her grandson and just telling him basically her entire life story and all of the things that she's done and how just life has impacted her. Where we are right now, it's, I think, in the early 2000s. So she's in her 60s now. And we just followed like so many things that she's gone through, all of the loss she's had, the love she's had, the political upheavals, the just like crazy economic changes that have happened in her country, and a lot of what living under a dictatorship was like. Now she's kind of getting into a fight for women's rights. She's getting more politically active and really, really trying to become more involved in seeing like the inequity within her country. Really deeply enjoying it. Didn't expect to like it this much, but it's honestly going fantastic. And yeah, wonderful. We have 2 hours done. That was so easy today. I felt like that lied. I did listen to the audio, and I was just kind of doing like first round of edits on some videos, did some cleaning, just like a lot of stuff around the house, and flew by so quick. So I'm incredibly happy with that. Truly like the best thing ever. And now today is done. I will come in and check for, I think, day 5 tomorrow. We're going to hope for another small number and another easy one to get through. Today, very, very easy day. We got 1 hour and I'm already partway through it, which is fantastic. I decided to kind of spend the first bit of this finishing off Violetta by Isabel Allende. And I actually deeply, deeply love this one. It was very emotional. It was very, very interesting following this woman's life and all of the different loves she's had, the different heartbreaks, the different moves in her career, and just her family relationships. Really, really enjoyed this. Really interesting to follow. And I'm glad I'm finally done. Obviously, I wanted to finish it yesterday. Didn't get around to that. I was kind of thinking that I was going to like finish it outside of my hours. That didn't happen, but we're done. And now I only have 17 minutes left for today's time. So I'm just going to go read some Dungeon Crawler Carl, and maybe that will be the book that we focus on for the remainder of this video. But yeah, I'm just gonna go do that now. I'm gonna focus and feeling great. Like we're doing good. We have another book done. I am giving this 4 stars, and yeah, really, really happy that today's hours are just like such an easy one. And I don't really love that in books. I do find it can get a little boring when we're entirely just following battles and when we're getting all these in and out strategy details of wars and stuff. I don't really get super invested in that. I do find it very, very hard to kind of like get excited to keep going and to continue on in that. And like, as much as I love these characters in this book, I do find that makes it it makes it kind of hard for me. And then another thing I noticed this very much in book 6 is that I'm finding, as funny as these books are, they're starting to have a very melancholy note to them. And it's more of just, it's reaching this point of really realizing like how screwed our characters kind of are in certain ways, and how much danger they're in, how many things are happening to them, and just kind of realizing that there's so many inevitable things coming their way. And like, there's this huge galaxy and universe as a whole who are all kind of working against them and working against the crawlers of this dungeon. And just something about it, and realizing, like, I feel like Carl has been more in his head about realizing all the losses that have happened, and it feels like there's much more of a melancholy note, and it is making it a little more difficult to get through these, because originally they were just like a very fun, silly time, and now I'm starting to be like, oh yeah, we have a lot of emotion happening too. So again, I'm really enjoying it still, like deeply love this book. Every single book in this series to date has been a 5-star. There's just a few things with this one that are not necessarily making it my favorite. So 2 hours left. I am going to go read. I am really excited. I do have to say, like, I'm super excited to keep going. And I think now that I'm in it, like I'm over 50% in and I'm like invested, I think it's going to fly by a lot quicker. Okay, guess who didn't bother to like actually do any updates yesterday? It was one of those days. It was pretty easy to get through my hours, I do have to say, but I just didn't really feel like chatting or updating on anything. And then today I spun again and got 1.5 hours, and yeah, I'm already through it. So we're actually like at the end of this video. So this actually ended up working incredibly well, and really I read all those like 3 hours yesterday towards the inevitable rune, and then today when I went in, I think I was 78% in. So the hour and a half I had left, I didn't end up finishing it, but then I ended up just kind of like tacking on whatever time at the end I needed. I didn't keep track of how much longer, but basically all of today, all of yesterday, and extra time today went into finishing The Inevitable Rune by Matt Dinneman. And with that, yeah, I'm actually now all caught up in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which not something I'm necessarily happy about in some ways, just because it is I want more of it constantly. I literally just want to live my life constantly getting like daily updates. I think I can do that if I subscribe to Patreon. I think you get like very regular updates from the author, and I might actually need to do that, because I feel like my life is going to be empty without having regular donut updates. And I just, in general, like I need more of this. I need it. It's so good. I'm definitely like, I keep eyeing, like I found on Etsy some shirts that are just like Dungeon Crawler Carl inspired, and some that are very Princess Donut inspired, and I keep buying them, and I need to get myself one, and I really want that. And yeah, so this one, I think I very briefly talked about it, but we are following the Action Wars, which is a big battle between all of these different armies, and we're following like Carl and Donut as they're kind of leaders of an army. And overall, like good, like everything about this book, same thing. Like I love the humor, I love the adventure, I love everything. But this one is the only one that I'm not giving a 5-star. I'm giving it 4 stars, just because I don't like books where we're entirely following battles and wars. I cannot get into them for the life of me. I cannot find myself getting interested, and like just I didn't care about all of the battle maneuvering and all of that stuff. It is not for me. It is so not for me. And I'm this way with everything. Like I really cannot get into books that are just entirely centered on war. Not it. Like not something I ever enjoy. But like I think this is the only one in the entire series that I'm not giving 5 stars, and it's entirely because of that. Entirely because I didn't find the setting that interesting. Everything else fascinating, wonderful. Love seeing the characters. Love exploring everything. Love that we saw so much more of this world, and more characters, more political maneuverings, all these things. I just don't like following wars. But now that we finished our hours, we're officially done this video, and this was crazy productive. I think I finished 5 books, something like that. This was honestly amazing for me. Really good to just sit down and like intensely focus on trying to get more reading time in. I think I definitely like to do a video like this again, maybe doing slightly less hours, like maybe only up to like 4 or 5 a day, especially consider the days when I'm working. Oof, this was rough, but this was super fun. Still so fun. I might do a challenge next based on page numbers. I think that is probably what I'll do next, but yeah, this was fun. This was definitely very fun. So thanks for watching today's video. If you haven't already, would love if you to consider subscribing and like this video, comment if you've read any of these books, and hopefully I'll see you in something very soon. Thank you. Bye.